Hey Tony, it's Thursday. It's been a pretty long day, so if I seem a little scattered, don't mind me. First off, to answer your question from last week, I think the anime. Now I haven't seen. Even when I was part of Anime Club, I didn't go to that many meetings because I had things going on after school. But a couple good ones are Cowboy Bebop's a good one. I heavily recommend Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Brotherhood is phenomenal. It's one of my favorites, so definitely take a look at that. And one if you just want something for the lulz is The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. It's pretty funny, and it was one that I knew a lot of my friends really enjoyed back in high school. So there's the answer to your question. Now my video is gonna be two part. First part is I'm going to talk about today, and the second part is I'm going to talk about the world stage, because I like doing those current event videos, apparently. So, I had a really long day in court today. I ended up, so I get there 9 like I usually do, and I had a trial today that I didn't know about. I ended up going with another attorney. He's a district attorney, so he does a lot of higher cases under with judges and juries. He had never once done housing, but he volunteered today because the Hampton County Bar Association is amazing. But I had to so myself and my supervising attorney, Attorney Gordon Shaw, had to basically explain him what the law was in Massachusetts for tenants. Not that he didn't necessarily know, but there are a lot of fine details that Gordon, who's been doing this for 20 years, and me, who's been doing it for 2, are kind of, you pick up on them without really knowing it. But, so we had to explain that to him. And so we took our case to trial, and it turned into a 2-hour trial. Now, for housing, that's a really long trial. Most cases end up through mediation, which only takes about a half hour, 45 minutes. And if it goes to trial, it's only about an hour. No, we had a 2-hour trial today, and it was long and exhausting, and just it turned out well. I think we may have put up a really good defense for our client and had a lot of good counterclaims, but we'll find out in a few days on that. So we'll see on that. Then I actually ended up in housing court again for the afternoon. Now generally I only work mornings, but I ended up going to the afternoon session as well with Gordon to deal with one agreement, which should have been simple. Turned out to be not as simple as it should have been because our client was a little difficult, for lack of a better term. But so that was today in review. It was a good day in court. Had a good week overall. So now we're going to talk to the current geopolitical stage, in particular North Korea and America. Now, as I'm sure you know, Tony, there is a lot of nuclear saber rattling going on right now. Obviously, North Korea has made intercontinental ballistic missiles, which are bad because it means they can technically hit basically anywhere in America, except for Florida was about the only spot of America that wasn't going to be hit. So that's already a bad thing, and obviously with Kim Jong-un is, by all intents and purposes, an unhinged despot. It's not great. And our glorious president has, made things so much better by being a very calming presence in the world. And of course, I'm just kidding. He started off by basically telling North Korea that if they dare do anything, fire and fury like the world has never seen will fall upon them. This is already a president who has never necessarily outlawed his thought of using nuclear weapons when he deems so fit. And this is bad. Now, obviously, if North Korea tries anything, we will probably, destroy them from the face of the planet because our arsenal is just ridiculous. It's massive. But a lot of innocent people will get harmed and will die along the way. I mean, you can look at South Korea, which is a huge metropolis, really. Seoul itself is only about 35 miles away from the Armistice Line. And Seoul is one of the most advanced cities in the world. It's very, very cool, and South Koreans are a lot of very cool people. I have many friends who actually are in South Korea at this moment, so I'm a little concerned on that. But President Trump decided to come out today and basically up the ante a little bit more by saying that his original threat was too soft. and decided to kind of keep pushing, saying basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, that that North Korea will never be seen again, which is not exactly a great idea. And when you're dealing on the world political stage, the geopolitical stage, it's not a great idea to threaten somebody who, first off, has nuclear weapons, and second off, is unhinged, as President Trump is. So it's kind of a pretty scary situation as far as it goes. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, there's no easy solution. There's no easy answer. There's no real good solution either as to what might or might not happen. But I think the only way we can really solve this without unneeded bloodshed is through diplomacy. I was actually very impressed with the United Nations, which included China and Russia, when they voted unanimously to put these sanctions on North Korea because of their nuclear testing. And that's, like, I thought that was a good step. And obviously North Korea didn't think it was that good of a step. But at this point, it's like there's too much nuclear saber rattling, and any conflict that could happen between the two countries is quite frankly terrifying. Like, you and I will probably be safe. I mean, you're in Nowheresville, Ohio. You should be just fine. And me, I'm in Nowheresville, Massachusetts. So, like, I'll be a little less fine because of how close I am to, like, New York City and Boston and even Washington, D.C. But here in my little corner of Springfield, we should be just fine. But that doesn't really solve the underlying issue of these are now nuclear powers. And any threat of war with nuclear powers steps us one step closer to World War III. Tony, your question for the week is what's your opinion on the current geopolitical crisis? Tony, I'll see you on Tuesday. Later, bro.